Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Bat here. Hope you're doing well. So we had a new Mission Impossible movie come out this Friday. Finally, the last one came out in 2018. This one obviously got delayed because of the pandemic. Um, not fun. You gotta remember that Top Gun Maverick was supposed to come out in 2020. And even a year before, in 2019, during Comic-Con, they showed the first trailer for Top Gun Maverick, and then May or summer 2020, obviously that delayed that film, and they also, in the process, delaying the next Mission Impossible. I think this was originally going to come out like in 2021, maybe 2022, but since Top Gun got pushed to 2022, they ended up pushing Mission Impossible to 2023. However, this is one of my favorite franchises. I think Fallout was one of the best, is one of the best action movies in the past 10 years. Not only that, but just a great Mission Impossible movie. I've been a fan of this franchise since the third one. I put up a ranking earlier this week. I'll put it at the end of this video again. If you didn't, check it out. So let's get into it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Positives. Tom Cruise, of course. Ethan Hunt. This guy continues to amaze me. He's been playing this character now for almost 30 years. And he's still better than ever. He has great chemistry with Rebecca Ferguson, obviously Simon Pegg, Vin Rames, even the newcomer this time with Hayley Atwell, which I'm going to get into next. He has amazing chemistry with her. I think there's another great, he does his own stunts. They look amazing. And gives another great performance by Tom Cruise. Hayley Atwell is the new addition to the franchise. She plays this girl named Grace. She's almost like a cat burglar. She goes around and pickpockets and steals stuff. That's how we're introduced to her. I really like her character. At first I was like, I don't know. Why are we bringing in another female character? We already got the great Rebecca Ferguson. Isla Faust was one of my favorite characters in the franchise. And then before that, we had Julie, Michelle Monaghan. Why do we need to bring in another female? But Hayley Atwell steals this movie. She's in this movie the entire movie. She has probably almost as many scenes as Tom Cruise. She is equally almost a second star in the movie. I like how she's vulnerable. She's strong at what she knows how to do, pickpocket and steal. But when it comes to getting into the mission and the action, she's hesitant, which would be normal for any regular person who is not in this background, being a spy, being an agent, working for IMF. And I really like that, that vulnerability that I'm not sure. I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to do this. But her chemistry with Tom Cruise, wow. Now I didn't realize until a couple months ago that Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell actually were in a relationship for over a year. I don't know if that was during filming or after filming, or if they're still on and off. I don't know. But they were together, and let me tell you, the chemistry between them, fire. Fire. Tom, you were with Nicole Kidman. Tom, you were with Penelope Cruz. You were with Katie Holmes. But Hayley Atwell, Peggy Carter from MCU, Watch out, Steve Rogers. You should have never went into that ice in the 1940s. Um, wow. They have great chemistry, like I said. And like I really like Hayley Atwell's character a lot. I hope we see her more in this part 2 and see where her character evolves in this series. Also, Palm Clementine, like I said before, people might know her as playing Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. She is great in this movie. She doesn't talk that much. She's like that silent henchman, or in this case, henchwoman. And she is just, she's intense. She knows her target, and she's going right after it. No matter who gets in the way, she's going right after it. And then we also got Henry Czerny, who played Kittredge in the first Mission Impossible. Almost 28 years later, he returns, and I enjoyed him in the movie. He's actually in the movie a lot more than I thought he was going to be. And not that he's in every scene, but he is throughout the movie. And I enjoyed him on screen. I think it allowed us to kind of circle back to the original Mission Impossible. Once again, we also have Vanessa Kirby in here, who plays the daughter of, Vanessa Redgrave, Max, from the first Mission Impossible. So you kind of have this finally coming together of the franchise. This movie is 2 hours and 49 minutes. Almost a 3-hour movie. And let me tell you something. I thought the last Mission Impossible Fallout, was the longest at the time. And that movie flew by. This movie flies by. I could not believe when the movie was over that I was sitting there for almost 3 hours. Action. Now I would say Fallout is still the better action movie. A lot more practical. I mean, this movie also has a lot of practical stuff. But I think the action in Fallout is better. Not like 10 times better. But still, I still will put Fallout higher than this movie. But this movie is higher than Rogue Nation on action. And the action in this movie, I'm not dumbing it down. It is phenomenal. There are some amazing action set pieces in this movie. The opening in the desert is really cool. Brings a certain look, cinematography-wise, and feel to the movie. That was a great scene. There is a car chase in the second act in this movie that is unbelievable. It's a very long car chase, but it is exciting, thrilling, suspenseful, high octane. And once again, the chemistry between Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell is phenomenal in that scene. It is by far one of the best highlights of this movie. It is like a 15, I want to be relative in like a 15 to 20 minute car chase sequence that is just unbelievable. Watch out, Fast and Furious. Mission Impossible has it on you. We have a train sequence in the third act climax that is unbelievable. I mean, we had a train sequence in the first Mission Impossible, but this train sequence way outdoes that one. This train sequence is fun, suspenseful, nail-biting, and it is well orchestrated, choreographed, and just unbelievable. I was on the edge of my seat during the closing part of this train sequence. It's that suspenseful. Also has a lot of humor. Like the other Mission Impossible movie, there's a lot of moments I was laughing throughout the movie. So between the action and the humor and the great characters, actors, this movie deals with AI, which is finally a very topical um, topic in our own real world, if you will. We're talking about AI with this, AI for actors, AI for scripts, and then this deals also with AI in different ways. So that was also bringing something real and like something we are actually dealing with right now in our world. And also, one other positive. This movie doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Obviously, if you didn't understand from the title, Part 1. That seems to be a common thread this summer between Fast X, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and now Mission Impossible. All three of them end on a cliffhanger. But I would actually say, just like, I mean, if you want to give me my own opinion, I think Mission Impossible Part 1 ends on a cliffhanger that still gives you a full story in Part 1 that ends, even though it ends with stuff hanging for the second part of this, dead reckoning overall, this movie ends concluding the main objective, the main plot. So even though it ends on a cliffhanger, I would say this is a better ending for a cliffhanger, where it's almost like a Lord of the Rings, where, even Deathly Hallows Part 1, where it still gives you a full story and a conclusion, while still leaving things open, like Lord of the Rings. We've been getting a lot of cliffhanger movies this summer. This is the best one. Some of my negatives with this movie. The villain, I think the villain, the actor was replaced by Nicholas Hoult was originally supposed to play the bad guy, but because of the COVID and he had other scheduling commitments, they replaced the actor. And I think the actor himself does a fine job. I don't think he was as good as what we saw in Rogue Nation and Fallout with Sean Harris and Henry Cavill. Or I don't think he's as good as Philip Seymour Hoffman in Mission Impossible 3. I think he was a fine villain. Maybe we'll see him more in Part 2, and then that will maybe give me a better... Maybe I'll think he's better than where I have him right now, once we see Part 2. Not enough on the IMF team. I don't know what is with these Mission Impossibles when they have a great group, like Mission Impossible 3. You have Maggie Q, Jonathan Rhys Meyers. You don't bring them back. Then in the fourth one you have Paul Patton. You don't bring her back. Then, now number 5 you had the team when you didn't bring back Jeremy Renner for Fallout. And now this one, yeah, you have Simon Pegg, yeah, you have Ving Rhames, but they're not in the movie that much. Like, I would even say, actually by the third act, they're almost non-existent. So it was weird to have, like, it's really just Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell. And Hayley Atwell's not even part of the IMF. So, I miss that group. So, one of my favorite characters, Rebecca Ferguson's Elsa Faust, also is not in this movie that much. I'm not going to get into any spoilers here, but I was actually very, very shocked by how little she's in this movie. I would literally tell you she might be in 10 to 15 minutes of this whole movie. I'm not going to spoil anything here. And I don't know if that was part of COVID, the pandemic. In terms of, if they were originally going to have her more in the movie, but then she had other scheduling conflicts like Dune Part 2, which is coming out later this year. They shot Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning in 2021, the same time, or 2021 going into 2022, the same time she was working on Dune Part 2, then that might have had a conflict, if you know what I mean. Just like with Nicholas Hoult. But I was really bummed, because she is one of my favorite characters since Rogue Nation. And even the way they ended her and Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, looking like they were finally going to hook up by the end of Fallout, when Julie, Michelle Monaghan, gave her blessing to Rebecca Ferguson's Elsa Faust at the end of Fallout. I thought, okay, well, now we're going to actually see a real romance that works. Because she's a spy, he's a spy. Almost like Batman can be with Catwoman, because they both do the same thing. And we did not get that in this movie. My final negative with this movie, there were certain moments in this movie that looked like our characters weren't going to get out of a situation. And it was like, oh no, this is it. And then they would cut to another scene, and they would be safe. And it was like, how did they get from A to B? They were in a situation they literally could not get out of. But now we cut to the next scene, and they're fine. Safe. How did they get from here to there? So I don't know what that was about. And I wouldn't have minded if it was only like one time. But it was at least 2 or 3 times. 2, definitely. 3, maybe. But even then, I was like, why? Why don't we see how they actually got from A to B? I'm still enjoying this movie. I wouldn't put it as high as Fallout or Rogue Nation. Maybe not even Mission Impossible 3, because Mission Impossible 3 still had a great villain. And Philip Seymour Hoffman. So I don't know. This might be a movie I gotta go back and watch again when it comes out later. And then I'll maybe before Part 2 comes out next year, I'll do a new ranking. But for now, I would give this at least, I still think this is an awesome Mission Impossible movie. Great action, great acting by Tom, Hayley Atwell, Tom Clementif, Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames still do a great job. When Rebecca Ferguson is on screen, she's great. Humor, like I said, almost a 3-hour movie, the pacing is great. You never feel it. I would give this still like a 4.7 out of 5. Like I said, I think not having enough Rebecca Ferguson, not having that core IMF, not having as strong of a villain, and like some of the, oh, we're in danger. We can't get out. Oh, wait, we're fine. How? But overall, I like it. This is still one of the better movies of summer. Action movies, definitely. Probably the best action movie so far this summer. Up there with John Wick Chapter 4 of the year. Still a great movie. I like that Rogue Nation Fallout are like the best of the best. So even if it falls right under that, that's still great for director Christopher McQuarrie, because he did Rogue Nation, Fallout, and now Dead Reckoning. So he's still 3-0 in my book. So did you see the new Mission Impossible? If so, what did you think? Let me know in the comments below. Matt the Bat here.